So you think if Akash gets a carpal tunnel sometime, I can pop on Ryan and I can still win?
I didn't say that.
We'll have to see about that one. We'll have to see about that one. We have to save our secret weapons, you know, like
Oh, okay. It makes sense. Yeah. Two of my and everyone's favorite players in the scene, Natter, Pummy and Captain Brush. They're like the fan favorites. Pummy because he's been doing wonders in contenders. I don't know, like that guy is absolutely insane, bonkers, majestic. I don't know what to say about him. And Captain Prash is like a fan favorite for a long time. I want a few lines about those two players. Personally, this is no one's question. This is just mine, so that I can like make this into a hook to this video. What do you have to say about these two players?
I'll sort of say that like I think Pummy brings a lot of experience to the roster,
Right.
as well as also a lot of like good mindset of how to play the game, and with that helps level, like it helps bring really good and creative ideas that really elevate the roster.
Right.
I also think we always know that Pummy is a very good Sombra, and having someone like that on your team is, let's say, very, very useful. Very, very useful.
100%.
It's a coach's dream, right? To have the Sombra player. I swear every coach wants a good Sombra player on their team.
It's just impossible normally to get one, and normally it's a lot of like micro and one-on-ones, but when you have someone who really has a good understanding and knows how to play the hero and has good uptime, doesn't get forced out much,
Right.
it just makes your life so much easier. Like whenever Sombra's even close to meta, like you can abuse that so hard, and you see that with Atlanta right now, as they were playing Sombra
is
Brawl.
pretty, yeah. There is a soft rework coming, or a hard rework coming. I don't know exactly what, but Sombra is going to be changed in some capacity. Do you think that will affect Pummy or the team or in any way?
I'm not sure what the rework will be, but like again, how we've sort of designed the team in a way where we have so many DPS, we're really able to adapt to really whatever
exactly.
the meta is.
So that helps because we have so many DPSs. Exactly. So that
exactly.
That is good for us though. About Captain Prash.
I think Prosh, like what really is unique about him is he's able to calm a lot if needed, but he's also able to like not calm. So he's able to like really fill the gap of what is lacking in a team, while also doing his role very effectively. So that's what I really like about Prosh. And also so on top of that, he's very skilled on the heroes he plays mechanically. He's not the type of person who's just sort of just gonna like play there and just sort of like play the game. He'll look for plays too, and he'll look for those times to be aggressive and like shine on Lucio.
Right. And also, I've tried and talked, like I've talked to everyone, and everyone is pretty humble, chill, good to talk to. Prash is like just so forward, like he's always there to help, always chatting. He is like a wonder, like he's like, I think the most friendly person you could be around. Honestly, like if I have to ask something, he is always there to reply, even if he's half asleep or he's going to bed, he'll make time to reply, and if there is a problem, he'll sort it. So having that kind of a person who is like, always there for the team, always there for people around, I think that also kind of consolidates the 7-man roster that we actually tried to build. And having someone like Prash is actually amazing, like in my opinion. Matrix.
I'll say, like, if there's one thing that we leave this kind of conversation with, I want to really impress that, like, our team environment, I think, might be one of the best, like, team environments of any World Cup team. Like, everyone wants to be here, everyone wants to win, and everyone shows up to win. But also, like, we've developed really good friendships, like, outside of what we're just doing in this program. Like, it's about winning at the end of the day, but we all really care about one another. We all work for everyone's mutual development.
Right.
And we just have so much fun doing it. Like I'm really, really happy with the way that the roster has kind of come together. And like, I think we're really going to hit our goals coming up.
I'm sure. There's a question about goals that will happen like towards the end of the interview. And I'm excited for you guys to answer that as well. Matrix, really impressed in the tryouts on Widow and Hitscan, right? What is his role right now in the team? Because Pummy is, I think, the Hitscan player, or he can be the Sombra player. So what happens? How are we juggling Matrix in the scene?
So I don't want to get too much leaks on that because it goes into strategy and counterplaying, but let's just say that we have some ideas on how we want to utilize Matrix, and you guys will sort of see that in the group stages.
100%. So yeah, that makes sense because he did impress everyone, and I'm not talking about just me. Everyone that I was watching the tryouts with, I was with 10 people, 20 people, like they were all spamming Matrix. Who the hell is this guy? Because no one knew him in the Indian scene, right? And they were like, holy shit, this is the best video I've seen. And trust me, those players have seen our videos. They have seen contender videos. But they never saw someone like Matrix. And when I told them that this guy is even on a higher ping than the other players, like this guy is on like around 300 to 350s, somewhere in that quadrant, and he's hitting shots like that, everyone was like, holy. I mean, like, I mean, this is some insane talent, you know? So that is why
he's very talented, and he's also extremely smart. He's like been a coach in contenders as well. So he's such a pleasure to like have on the team and to be able to work with. And he's also one of my like good friends. Like I've known him for many years now. So always a thrill to be able to work with him. And I'm sure that he's going to impress during our group stage.
100%. Looking forward to it.
He has a lot of background. Like Sham said, like he's been a coach in contenders. He literally almost made it to NA contenders as a hit scan. So like he has a lot of background and competitive experience too. I've also known him, like me and him, believe it or not, used to actually play on a team together like 5 years ago, a long time ago. And I used to play the game and not coach the game. So I've known him forever.
Makes sense. So right now in the team, like we have players who are ranging from like close to T1 level right down to the T3 level, you know. So there is a diversity of skill tiers ranging from close to T1 to T3. So there are like 3 elos of legit skill level present in the team. Are there ego issues? I know the answer. Is it difficult to? But it's for everyone else to know. Is there any ego thing that happens between the team, or like someone says that I am better because I've played at this level? Does this happen?
So I'll be honest, like you can probably just think about the person who's most like experienced, right? Is like probably Pummy, just because Pummy's literally like being shock and played at that level, and Pummy is probably he's a very chill dude, and like he doesn't do any of that type of stuff. And I think that talks a lot to him as a person, and just how valuable as he is. So there really isn't any ego, and I think adding on the fact that our goal, has always been the same. We've all been aligned. A lot of people want to do whatever as a team we decide is like the best thing. Everyone's fine with it, right? Because all we really want to do is win. Exactly. So, there is no ego. If anything, everyone's rooting for each other, and we're all just trying to do the best we can. 100%. So, then that's something that is really nice to see, because again, when you have like collegiate teams, you'll have one player who's really much better than the others. You're going to have that issue happen. I was at the start of this, I was worried about that happening, but like how I think both of you sort of approached the roster, and sort of at the very start when I was gone a little bit, I think you guys did a really good job bringing everyone together after trials, and I think like set up a really good team environment.
It's actually been
it's made it very easy to coach, to be honest. Like very easy to coach.
I mean, it's very friendly. Like the environment's very friendly. Like I don't have a coaching background like at the highest level, right? But they still listen to me. I mean, I don't do a lot of technical things, but whatever I talk to, they still sit down and they talk to me here. They listen. They don't need to, right? They don't need to, because they have better coaching than me. But they still listen. So that speaks a lot about the team. And definitely, guys, if you think there is any ego issue, there is none. Like everyone is at the same level. Of course, they are talented. They are more talented people, and there are T3 players, but everyone has a common shared goal, and I think people are working towards one similar and the same goal that we have, is to win most of our matches and make it to LAN, and then we'll see what happens after that.
I think if you want some context too, like if you watched, there's recently an OWL interview that came out with Gator and Yiska, and Gator kind of talked about his coaching philosophy on the Atlanta Reign, and how he believes about like 90% of coaching even is like roster building. And I think that's like maybe a little bit of an extreme point of view, but really like these players are so smart and they have so much experience that many times, like if it's the middle of a block, they are able to figure out those problems for themselves. And what they really need is just kind of a guiding hand, or like some guardrails on the road to make sure that they stay on the correct path. So really, like in terms of coaching for this team, aren't a lot of egos or issues because they all want to solve those problems and they just need someone to help them figure out like what the most important problems are. So it's been a real treat. And again, like I think we did a really good job in terms of our roster construction and build it, like bringing a lot of players who had a really great mindset and like dedication.
Yeah, I'll like add on to that too. Like look at all the top coaches in OWL. Like most coaches are more mediators and will do a lot more of discussions just to get people on the same page. Because generally, when you have top like OWL teams, most players are insanely smart and already know the game very, very well. So just making sure everyone's on the same page and how they want to approach it and playstyles all link. And a lot of the playstyles all linking is how you build the team to make sure that everything is clean and like that. With this team again, there's definitely still sometimes macro like coaching needed, like doing VOD reviews and stuff. But like also like there's a lot of discussions, and what I will add to that is the team is very smart and they're able to adapt on their feet, which is really nice to see. Like if I'm like busy with something, right, and like a scrim happens, like and they're sort of struggling on something, they'll realize what changes they need to make, like literally like after mid map, and they'll just adapt, and then it clearly shows, and that's a very useful skill to have in a team. Very, very useful.
Adding to this question, do you want to leak this? I don't know if you want to leak this or not. Which comp is India looking the strongest at? Do we want to say that, or I don't know?
I mean, I think we're again pretty well versed just because of our DPS is what I'll say. I don't really want to say like, it's hard to even say right now because I'm pretty sure a patch is gonna come out soon, so like we don't know, right? But again, I'll say that like I think we're pretty well versed on most compositions and we're able to play most things, so I'm not too worried. And I'll sort of like leave it at that.
I guess I'll give the counter answer that I don't think there's like one comp we're weak to. Pretty much, like we can play almost anything, so we can handle whatever teams will throw at us.
So you think if Akash gets a carpal tunnel sometime, I can pop on Ryan and I can still win?
I didn't say that.
We'll have to see about that one. We'll have to see about that one. We have to save our secret weapons, like.
Okay, it makes sense. How is the team responding to WODs? I mean, you already said it, but like how is the team?
Probably like in terms of all the teams I've coached, I think it's pretty high up there in terms of how fast they're receptive and improving things. It's pretty high up, to be like, brutally honest.
Are you guys impressed overall?
I'm impressed, but I'm like happy, and I think that's good enough for me.
Okay.
Like if a team is essentially like learning a concept, ideally within like 2 VODs, and like that's practicing and implementing it consistently. And like the thing is, anyone can practice and implement something after like I say it like in a block. But to me, consistency is probably the most important thing. Like if I leave the topic and go to something else, are they still actively doing the thing correctly? And so far it looks like that, and that's what makes me really happy. Especially after just like 1 or 2 VODs, right? Like if they're able to like execute it and then do it consistently, that's awesome.
When Natter was not around, when Natter was not around, Sham, like you were there, I was there. Has the team impressed you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think I'll give a kind of nuanced take on this. Something that people don't really realize is that when you force a behavior change, or if you give someone additional information, it's not like a linear progression in terms of how they improve at that skill.
Of course,
it's usually an implementation curve. So they'll actually like they're playing at this level, they'll go down a little bit while they're trying out the new concept and idea, and then they'll improve much further. And a lot of times what happens is a coach will give someone an information, the player will like drop off a little bit in terms of their overall output, and then they'll be like, oh, I don't like this, I want to go back, and then they'll just revert to what they were originally doing. What I really like about our team, and I think what I'm most impressed with, is when they're at this level, they're actively problem solving and trying to figure out how they can still use that concept to improve. And then when the weights come off and they've fully like learned and integrated the skill, they completely outpace where they were beforehand. So I think that's the thing that our team is really, really strongest at, and that we have such a good mindset for it. So I've been really proud of our team so far.
That's the